Welcome to the instruction video for your Offer Analyzer app. This app was designed by real estate investors for real estate investors to streamline the process of making a quick, accurate offers on site to purchase residential real estate. There are two primary components required to make an offer on site. One is establishing the market value of the property, and the second is identifying the repairs required for the property. In addition, we recommend you take the time for a one-time preliminary setup for your Offer Analyzer app. This setup adjusts your cost settings in line with the region of the country you live. This will make Offer Analyzer more accurate, and you can certainly get started using the default settings, which we'll do today, but we do recommend you do go in and review these items and set them up for your area of the country. First, if you haven't already done so, Offer Analyzer can be downloaded from the App Store to either your iPhone or iPad. For ease of demonstration, we're going to go ahead and use the iPad, but the app works well on both devices. As I mentioned, Offer Analyzer was designed to give the real estate investor a tool to make a quick and accurate on-site offers to sellers for residential real estate. More offers means more properties, and accurate offers means more profits. So let's get started. You're looking at the home screen for Offer Analyzer, and you'll notice 4 select buttons: New Offer, Saved Offers, Local Settings, and Application Settings. The New Offer button you'll select for each new property you want to analyze. Saved Offers is the library of properties you've analyzed or in the process of analyzing. Also, if you upgrade to Offer Analyzer Pro, you can keep an unlimited number of properties. So I'm going to go ahead and go into Saved Offers and just look at 3 of some recent offers that we've saved. And I'm going to select this property here, 109 Jenny Drive. So what you can do is you basically can pull up to the property and you can enter your inputs, the property inputs for the subject property you're using. You're going to evaluate the comparables. Those are all the properties in the neighborhood that are similar to yours, up to 5 properties that you want to compare them with, much like an appraiser does. And then you're also going to evaluate the repairs of the individual property, and then we'll go into what the property settings are. So first of all, I'm going to go look at the property inputs for the subject property, and then you can view the images there. So when you pull up to the property, you can take a photo of the property itself and store that in the Offer app, and then you can go ahead and enter the information of the particular property itself, the date that you're there, whether it's a 1-story or a 2-story, the main living area, bedrooms, baths, garage. Okay, you basically go in there and you select that it's a 3-bedroom, it's done, and you do the repeat things for the garage, the year built, and we'll go into this addition or garage conversion and likeness factor here a little bit later. So same thing with the images. You can pull up to the property. You can select your camera, take a picture of the image and add it, and add that for record keeping purposes too. So I'm going to go back then to the property inputs which we just completed. Okay, set that. I'm going to put bedrooms. It's 3 bedrooms, done, and we're going to save that. And so now we've got the configuration of our subject property, and then you can evaluate the comparables. And you can do this either prior to arriving at the subject property, where you're filling in the information, or you can do it while you're in the neighborhood itself. So here's our subject property, 109 Jenny. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1-car garage, and the heated living area is 1,525 square feet. Okay. There is some additional information that you can enter: the size of the lot, the type of exterior, the concrete driveway, paved, gravel, the type of heating and ventilating air conditioning system you have, whether there's a pool, and whether it's on a busy street. So remember, we're looking for those main items that will allow us to compare versus other properties so we can establish a value there. So then the other properties in the neighborhood that were most similar to this property were Bryn Mawr 1226. Okay, and we went in and entered the address for that. We go in and we enter the square footage of the property. Okay, we can go in and enter that the date that it was sold, the actual date that the property was sold on the property. Actually, it was sold in 2013. 23rd, 2013. Okay, we can save that. The sell price that it was sold for, and then the seller concessions. Those are the concessions that were done either through seller paid closing costs or any type of concession that the owner made when he sold the property. That will get us a net value of the property. And then also, this is called the weight of comparison. That is how close this property is to the subject. So for instance, in this case, we have 4 properties. They're all pretty close in style and structure and everything like that to the subject property. So I'm just putting 25% weight for each one of these. If you wanted to weight one property more heavily than the other, you can change that weight different. And then the appreciation is actually the appreciation that's going on in that particular market. You know, sometimes it's 0. This market happens to be declining right now, so I've got -3% depreciation. And that helps us because at the time when the renovation is complete, that will help us understand what the value of the property will be at that particular time. You can fill in the days on the market, the number of bedrooms for this particular comparison property, the number of bathrooms. In this case, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with no garage. The lot is also a 1/4 acre. Unlike the subject, which is vinyl, this property is brick. And in our particular area, a brick property is actually worth more than a vinyl-sided property. So we, in this particular case, are giving a $3,500 credit to the subject property as a result of that. It's a concrete driveway, just like the subject. It has central air conditioning, and neither of the properties are on a busy street. Neither of the properties have a pool. And this particular property is a 1-story property versus the subject property is a 2-story property. And in our particular area, a 1-story property is slightly more valuable than a 2-story property as far as the ability to sell and things like that. So we're going to save that, and then you can say we go in and repeat that for each of the comparison properties. In this case, in this neighborhood, we had 4 properties that were similar to the subject property. So we went through and filled that in for each one of those properties so that we can have a comparison of the properties with hopes of establishing a very accurate value, okay? So with 25% of each one of those properties, attributed to that, it comes out with a market value, an average weighted after repair value of $148,481. So we've kind of established what we feel is the value for this property now, our subject property, based on the comparables as $148,000, okay? Now we're at the property and we're going to start walking through the property. And the objective here is to be able to meet with the seller, be able to walk around the property on the outside, be able to walk on the inside of the property and evaluate what the repairs are. So if you're going to start outside, you can select the exterior part of the property. If you're starting inside, as you walk through with the owner, you can select inside. And these are the items here that are deemed to need repair. In this case, we're going to demo the property such that we're going to remove the cabinets, maybe change some walls and things like that. So basically you would come in here and you would add a quantity. You can also add a direct entry there if you want to know what if you want to enter what you know to be the demo cost for this particular property, but it will automatically set it up for you too for time purposes. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're also going to put carpet and vinyl in the downstairs, in the upstairs part of the property. So we're going to fill in. It's already entered that it's 1,568 square feet. That's a default value from the initial living area of the property. We're going to say that half of the property we're going to put carpet and vinyl in, which comes in at a standard unit cost of $275 for our particular area in the country. We hit calculate and then we save it, and it comes up to say, okay, we're going to spend $2,156 to carpet the upstairs part of the house. And the same thing on the downstairs. We're going to put the downstairs with wood floor. So half of the living area, half of the 1,568 square feet is going to be living area at a cost of $3.50 a heated square foot. Now I'll stop to mention that this is a regional value here that you plug in only once, this $3.50 a heated square foot. So you can eventually fine tune that number for what the number is specifically in your area. Again, you hit calculate, you save the value, and it go ahead and it enters then that you're going to be spending about $2,744 labor and materials to install hardwood in the bottom part of the floor. the bottom part of the house, excuse me. If you wanted to refinish existing hardwood floors, you would select this. You would go ahead and select the quantity of the house. If it's the whole house, then you would put 1 in there. And the area again is 1,568 square feet at a unit cost of $250, and that would calculate that for you. But in this case, there was not hardwood floors. We're going to install them. So we did not select hardwood refinished. As we move from floor covering to paint on the interior, we're going to go ahead. The entire house needs painted. So we've already selected that figure, but we're going to select that we're going to paint the entire interior of the house at 1,568 square feet at $2.75 a square foot. Calculate, save that. So as we're walking through the house, we're selecting this. In this particular house, it needed one of the rooms needed to be sheetrocked, and that's a cost of $450 per room. So we're going to save that and sheetrock one of the rooms. We're looking at the doors now. We have both interior and exterior doors as we walk through the house. In this particular case, we were going to replace one of the doors. It was deteriorated, so we select that and save it. Same thing with the interior doors. We had one of the doors that was actually broken to the bedroom, so we selected that, entered 1 at $150 per door, which includes the hardware. So you're selecting that. And then the sliding glass door was in poor condition, so we're going to go ahead and replace that at $675 per door installed. We save that. So, and as you can see, you're going through here, you walk into the kitchen itself. The length of the cabinets, you're going to want to take a tape measure with you and measure the length of the cabinets, both the uppers and the lowers. So we've got 25 linear feet of cabinets here at $125 a linear foot. We're going to put the quantity in there because we're going to replace all of them. We're going to calculate that and again save it as we're moving through. Sometimes you're going to save the cabinets so you can paint them instead of replacing them. As you can see, we're replacing them in this case. We're going to put laminate counters on as opposed to the more expensive granite because of the neighborhood. And actually the length of the cabinet, the counters is 18 linear feet at a cost of $30 a linear foot installed, of which we're going to have $540 to replace that. And then we're also going to replace the sink and the faucet to make it look really nice. And we move to the appliances. We're going to go ahead and do the range, dishwasher, microwave. You can certainly add a refrigerator in there if you chose to. We opt not to replace the refrigerator. We let the client bring the refrigerator and negotiate for that. In the baths, at the beginning of the app, you've entered how many bathrooms there were in the house. So this will, if you select baths, this will automatically say, okay, there were 2.5 baths. So that's 3 sinks and 3 vanities. So there's a quantity of 3 already entered there at a unit cost of $350. You would calculate that and it would give you a value that it's going to cost us $1,050 to install all 3 vanities with sinks and faucets to it. Same thing with the toilets. In this case, you're going to have 3 toilets for a 2.5 bath. Right? In this particular case, we're going to actually have to replace an entire bathtub. The other bathtub is fine, so we're going to select 1 bathtub. We changed that from initially, which as a default value was 2. Remember, there were 2.5 baths in this house, so we changed that. Hit calculate, saved it, and it calculates $1,550 for us. Same thing with tiling the floor. We're going to go ahead and tile the floor of the baths. We're going to have 3 of those at $550 a bath, and we're going to save that. So as we walk down through here, tile around the existing tub, no. Miscellaneous, in most baths we're going to replace mirror and towel bars for again a cost of $375. There's 2.5 baths, so there's actually 3 mirrors and towel bars per bath. So we're keeping that. This particular house had an older hot water heater. It might have lasted another couple years, or it could have broken the day after we purchased it. So we went ahead and added a hot water heater to the calculation for the house.